Hey, what's up, y'all? Hope you guys are having a good one. Bungie yesterday announced a huge PvP and Trials update, and in this video, we are just going to go over it, give some thoughts, talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen all the other YouTubers' videos on. You're like, well, why should I click on this video? Well, I'm not going to be talking as much about the actual bullet points. I'm going to be talking about what I think this is going to be doing for the game. So if you're interested in that, then keep watching. So let's see. The best place to start is this, which is amazing, right? All Crucible ability perks, like melees, grenades, everything like that is getting nerfed. So supers, slight increase, normal ability, slight increase. Prismatic is getting another nerf on top of it with 20% reduced or decreased rather energy refund and a 10% cooldown on supers. And then the best thing ever, right? Like it's a goddamn miracle. Like Christmas, it came twice. Unpowered knockout melees will no longer spawn diamond lances on kills against players. I think it goes without saying that this is a massive W and long overdue, and it's going to make the health of the game much better. So big W from Bungie here. Great job, guys. Really happy for this. Okay, the next thing is Trials, right? And Trials has been shit for a while, and they say it. They start with the elephant in the room has several problems, right? It's not fun for average to below average players, correct, right? There's not, rewards suck, for high level skill players. They talk about like aesthetic rewards. I don't give a fuck about those, but I know a lot of people do, so fair enough. You're right. They're not doing good enough there. The game mode is high stress. Is it fun to play for a lot of people? Like getting 5-0'd feels way worse. In video games, I always like to look at things in balance in terms of like how fun is it to win and how unfun is it to lose, right? It's not super fun to win a game of Trials, but it's really unfun to lose one, right? So when the balance is really bad like that, that's when you have a problem. So I'm glad they understand that. And then they want to talk about Fireteam matchmaking. This is kind of where I have some problems with it. But yeah, we'll go into that later. Pretty much what they did is it's really complicated. So let me take a second actually figure out how I want to say this. Basically, they're making it so going flawless, 7 wins in a row is not important anymore. It's just about getting 7 wins, which I think is awesome, right? There's going to be people out there who say, oh, the game should be elite. They should be like, screw it, man. Like the game's dying. Let people get value out of their time, right? The same way that I like to play PvE, I'm not going to play PvE if I'm getting one strange coin, for a game or something, right? Like I want to have my time respected, and I think these changes respect the time of average players, which is a really, really good change. On this front, I think they're doing a great job. They added these like different passages. So the first one is what everyone will pretty much go into at the start, which is just a lighthouse passage, open skill, 7 wins. Once you get 7 wins on a card, then you complete the passage, right? Then you can go to the lighthouse. These are the rewards, right? I'm not really going to go into them. The rewards have been increased, which is good. Definitely needed a rewards increase. You can see down here for all the win streak stuff. Like I said, on these kind of videos, like all the YouTubers yesterday made these long videos. I don't think you guys really care about me going into all these things. But once you get access to the lighthouse, your passage will change to this, right? This is where the problems start to come in, right? Because now it adds skill-based matchmaking. Oh, our favorite. Yay. And they call it weekly performance-based matchmaking. They don't put skill in there. They weekly performance. So, if you've completed 7 wins, then you are now in a higher skill bracket. And this one isn't that bad. I think it's kind of okay, right? Because it's not, you can't really cheese it, right? Because Destiny players are always going to be looking for a way to play the easiest lobbies as possible, right? This, what people used to do back in the day with the flawless pool is they would get to 6 wins, reset their card, or they'd get to 3 wins, reset card, 3 wins, reset card, and just pub stomp, right? Because a lot of players in this game, including me, people have egos, right? And you don't like to lose, right? So at some point, the people who aren't playing for loot are going to play for their pride, and they don't like losing as much. What I will say is I'm okay with this passage. I think the problems I have are a little bit later, but yeah, it says, skill-based matchmaking now, whoopee, awesome. Everyone's favorite. We've added it to Trials. Once you have 7 wins, you will now play against only other people who have 7 wins unless someone in your fire team is on the lighthouse passage, meaning they have not gotten 7 wins. And this is okay because I think 7 wins is a pretty low barrier. Like most average players who play trials can get 7 wins. So I think this helps those lesser players later in the weeks, which is something that they do need, and I think is a good change. While it also doesn't push it too far to make the experience have slow matchmaking queues or just be really aids to play, right? Just playing sweats over and over again, right? So this is fine. And then they talk a little bit about the rewards here, right? This is where I have problems, right? And take note that these problems right now aren't necessarily, like, you might just say, oh, you're a top tier player, you should play against higher players, right? And that's fine. I get that. I understand that. What I've always said is, if you want me to play higher skill lobbies, then you need to reward me. And to be fair to Bungie, they have done that in this update. You do get rewarded more with more weapon drops, more tokens, all this stuff, right? So fair enough on that end. However, this is the problem I have. The flawless passage, right? So once you've gone, I think it's 7 wins in a row. Yeah, I think it's 7 wins in a row. Once you get that, then you are in another placement area, right? And they say here that because we expect there to be few players who can earn this passage, it works in a hybrid system where it will spend only a short period of time looking for other similar players before reverting to open skill. So that does not increase matchmaking time or reduce connection quality. I'm glad that they put that in, because I think that is an important thing. Here's the problem. It's kind of hard to talk about this problem, so we're going to skip to... Where is it? Yeah, hold on. Let me cut real quick and find it. Okay, it was right here. I'm stupid. But Fireteam-based matchmaking. This is the problem with this new system, right? I'm okay with the 7-win first card because that is there to help new players. This is something that you can cheese because people are just going to be like, hey, I don't want to be in that pool. That pool is going to be sweaty and really shitty. So I'm just going to get to 6 wins and then lose. Like 6 win streak, lose. 6 win streak, lose. People are going to be cheesing it all over. The queue times, I know they said the queue times won't be that bad, but it's only going to be sweats. And the people who actually just normally play the game are going to get fucked. And they're going to get even more fucked, people like me who play solo queue, because of this, right? We would be remiss if we didn't talk about Fireteam-based matchmaking. Statistically, has kept solo players playing more frequently, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fair enough, right? And they make a good point here. I'm glad that they at least kind of understand this problem. This is the Fireteam-based matchmaking. Trio players didn't increase when freelance went away. Solo players decreased dramatically. Solo players only played during their free... I'm kind of all over the place here, but let me give you my opinion on the best system. Get rid of duo queue. Duo queue is a problem, and it will continue to create problems, as we're going to see in this. Make it freelance or 3 queue only, because that fixes this problem that they have here. But it also makes it fair for solos, because this shit right here, solo players that get matched against a larger fire team, like solos are now going to be matched against 3 stacks. And you put that on top of these changes, right? You put them on top of this, the flawless passage stuff. I'm just going to be playing the 3 stack Zimmers with 2 randoms and getting fucked over and over again, right? I like, this was so close to being a huge W update. If they just got rid of this, we're there, right? Trials is fair. You added a little bit of help for those lesser players, which is who needs help, right? This shit is fucking stupid. People are going to cheese around it, and it's going to fuck the solo players and the people who actually try and play the game normally. And with these changes, making it so, duo queues and solos can match trios, they're like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, you'll get lost forgiveness. I don't give a fuck about lost forgiveness. If I'm it's not going to be fun. People are going to stop playing the games, and especially with these changes, I know we're going back and forth, right? But especially with these changes up here, people, especially when weapons are shit for a week, they're not going to play harder games on a shit map when the weapon's shit. I think we're going to see much higher highs with trials and much lower lows on some weekends with these changes. We're going to see, when it's Javelin and the Arcane Cannon, right, that people like, when it's a good weapon and a good map, we're going to see a bunch of players. But alternatively, when it's, Bannerfall again, because we know they're going to do that shit again for some reason, and, the rocket launcher, or the scout rifle, right, people aren't going to play, and it's going to be terrible. And I know it's, I'm kind of sitting here ranting a little bit, and I didn't want to rant this video. I'm trying to give Bungie credit here because I think, and this is kind of the problem I have with them when it comes to PvP, is 90% of the stuff they do, boom, get it. Yep, switched on. I completely agree with what you're saying. I get the thought process. You don't deserve as much hate as you get for these things. And then the 10%, the one thing, like On the Prowl coming out next season too in PvP, that shit, no one's talking about it. That is going to be fucking terrible. It's going to completely break PvP. And no one seems to care, right? Like, you come out with all these good updates, and then there's the one bad thing that just makes all the good work useless. And, I know there's probably a lot of you guys who have already made up your minds and are like, oh, you're a top tier player. You deserve to play against other top tier opponents. This should protect skill players. I get that. I really do. But I think this system is going to be amazing for 90% of the Trials player base. And it's definitely going to make carries so much easier, right? Like, everyone is going to be doing carries now on stream. Like, I might even start doing carries on stream because it's going to be so fucking free, because you're going to be playing in that pool where people haven't even gotten 7 wins before a lot of times. So you're going to see a lot of carries. But I don't know, man. I don't get this. This is the big problem I have. This, right? I'd love to open a discussion with them, because they're right about what they say here, right? I understand that freelance should not just be in the game and then normal trials as well, right? It should only be 3 stacks and freelance, in my opinion. You already have Fireteam Finder in the game, built into the game. You could use that to, do a little bit of work, and you can have it like whenever you queue into trials, it pops up Fireteam Finder and says, hey, these are people looking for game. If you want to play solo, here's an option. But if you want to actually go with a fire team, you can use our in-game LFG to get yourself a team, right? And it doesn't make sense. They're so stubborn with this duo stack system. And it really is just going to fuck over the solo community. And the frustrating thing is they even say it here. I don't know where they say it, but they say solos are the backbone of trials. They are the most played population. So I can't imagine that screwing over your, even people might say it's not screwing over because, hey, your loss is forgiven. People don't just play for loot. They want to play PvP just because it's fun, to fight, right? And if they're getting fucked over and over again against 3 stacks, it's going to suck, And it's also going to bring up the issue of whenever you do play against a 3 stack, let's say you're a duo queue, and you get a bad solo, then it's going to be, oh, my teammate sucks, that bad ethos that we have in this game, where it's easy just to shit talk your teammate and put blame on teammates, and everyone's playing toxic and for themselves. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I think this is a really, really big problem, and I think Bungie dropped the ball on this. I think they did great things on the other things. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And I think it's a 10 out of 10 update, honestly. But yeah, maybe it's just me. I try, whenever these updates come out, I try and, especially on this one, I look at kind of the general public perception, and this one is super positive, right? And that's good. We want positive things. We want Bungie, getting motivation. Like, hey, our community isn't just a bunch of trolls in dungeons who just want to shit on them for everything they do. But how this community works, we saw it with Final Shape, right? The big DLC. Everyone's like, Bungie is the god. They are Messiah, the Jesus Christ himself. They can never do anything wrong. And then, a couple months later after the layoffs, it's this game sucks. Everyone's terrible, right? It's so polarized one way or the other. And I try and say it how it is. I try and cut through that polarization. I think there's some genuine criticism to these things, and I want to start a discussion on it. Is it just me, right? Do you guys kind of see my point? Are you guys a little worried about some of these things, especially you solo players? I know I appreciate that there's a lot of you guys who are solo players in trials, and I've kind of built my channel around being a solo player because I think it's fun. I think it's fun being solo. I think it's inclusive for everyone. Anyone can just hop in and play trials, and I think a large portion of my community are solo players. What do you guys think? Are you guys as worried as I am about these matchmaking changes? This seems terrible for the solo experience. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some other stuff in the video that we're going to look at that's really good. By the way, the rest of this video is actually like good stuff from Bungie. But I really did want to bring this up before I go into the other stuff. So yeah, give me your feedback on that because I don't know if it's just me, if I'm reading things wrong, or anything like that. But I really am worried for the high end of trials, and I think it might just become norm that people are just trying to cheese around it, and it's going to make the cheating problem so much worse for players like me, especially solo players. So let me know what you think. Yeah, it's a little ranty, but let's go into the good stuff, right? Um, there's some stuff here with the skill rework and stuff. I'm gonna be honest, like I couldn't be asked to read this shit. I don't care how this this stuff looks here. I think it's good showing more like understand how well you perform in each match. I think these changes are good. I just as a player, like if you really want to learn about these things, go watch another YouTuber. There's like a million videos out there. Um, cool, awesome. I'd rather look at other stuff. Competitive is getting changed, right? Comp sucks currently. Like it is actually the worst system. I think the worst Destiny experience I've ever had is comp. And I don't think these changes are going to. I don't think they're going to push the needle enough. Honestly, I think comp is still just shit. I think the game modes are trash. Especially Clash just should never be a game mode. They need to have more objective based modes. I would like to see Showdown return personally. I love Showdown. I think what's cool about Showdown is what kind of is the problem with survival, which is another good game mode in my opinion, is it leads to being too campy, right? But Showdown kind of lets both teams dictate the tempo, and then it also whenever you revive someone, you get the point back from your enemy, so it encourages team play. And some people might say, "Oh, well, that encourages team shotting." Well, team shotting, that's more of a problem with the sandbox, not the game modes. If Bungie doesn't want team shotting, then bring back special weapons and revert March 5th. But they're never going to do that shit. They're too stubborn. I'm done making that argument. But yeah, I think that's how you fix comp. These things are kind of cool, with the skill based stuff. Yeah, cool. But I really, until they do something about the game modes, I don't think the needle is going to get pushed. So I don't really want to talk about it. This is awesome. I actually will be playing comp next season because of this gun. This gun looks crazy good. Um, yeah, I mean, look at this. So many good rolls. Really, really good. Emblems, cool, whatever. Um, this is good with collision. I know some people really don't like collision. I think it has potential. So I think these changes actually are better. And then they talk about this slow capture collision. This looks really cool in Crucible Labs. I like this. I think this would be better than the current system. It's kind of hard to explain it. It's more like there's a zone, and then you capture that zone, you get a point, and the zone takes longer to capture. They spawn less frequently. Like it's I think this system punishes you less for enemy teams just running around team shotting, which is kind of the problem with collision. So this slow capture would be kind of cool. I'm definitely going to try it out when it comes to Crucible Labs. And then they talk about playlist reorganization. This is great. Ally protection for control, rank base for 3v3, rumble, open skill. This is good. I think lessening the skill based matchmaking in the game is really important. Not only because of the lower population, especially on PC, because PC players can't match with console players unless the console players are also playing with a Steam player. But just in general, the game shouldn't be a sweat fest in 6v6 like it is. So I think this is a good change. We'll see kind of what happens from that. Maybe the mercies will be a problem, but I think it's cool that they're doing that. And then events, they're adding like the Iron Banner trials, Guardian Games quick play is cool. Yeah, they're doing a few more events things with this. I think it's a good step in the right direction. Iron Banner also, for you those of you guys who don't know, is going to 1 week again. Awesome. Great. 2 weeks was a big mistake, and I'm glad that Bungie have stopped just ignoring the problem and are willing to just say, hey, we fucked up, we're changing it back. That's good. I think we should reward that kind of behavior. Yeah, and they talk about the new playlists here, Iron Banner Rotator Lockdown, which is kind of cool. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Checkmate Throwback, cool. I think more game modes is cool. It's kind of reminds me of the more Halo experience, We're like, oh, if I'm playing Halo, do I want to play Team Snipes? Do I want to play Big Team Battle? Do I want to play Oddball? party games. Like there's so many. This is good. Destiny should be going more into these things. I would like to say I guess they didn't show it here. But there should always be like a party game mode, like, and I think that is what they have with like Team Scorch. I'd put Momentum Control up here instead. I'd put like Team Scorched, Relic, those kind of game modes down here. And I'd like for them to experiment with like, infinite special ammo game modes or, like experiment a little bit more. Like go be willing to break the mold on things more than you currently are. Because this is good, right? But you look back at what they did so well with Halo, it was just that, it's that fact where there's so many different types of experiences that you can have in PvP. I can go play Griffball, right? I can go play custom games. I can go play, jump rope and custom games. I can go play Oddball. I can go play, like, there's so many different things to do. And I think that's what attracted more people to Halo. And I think they could do the same thing in Destiny. I think the Sandbox is really endless for that. And I know the engine has some problems. I know it's probably not as easy. I'm not a game developer saying all these things, but I'd love to see them keep experimenting with this because I think the way they've set this stuff up is really good, and I'm excited to kind of see how they continue to do that. Okay, and then we're getting to the end here, so we'll just go through these last ones. Lobby balancing, some stuff I don't really kind of understand this fully. Map weighing, this is good. I mean, Vostok and Multiplex clash, it fucking sucks, right? Burnout getting increased, cool. I still don't. What I will say, and I'm curious you guys' opinions because this is a little conspiracy theory I have. It feels like whenever I play with lower skilled friends, so like I'll play with my IRLs, right? The map queue is so much better. Like it feels like I'm playing Javelin and Endless and Dead Cliffs and Burnout and all these fun maps. The ones that most people really like. And then when I play solo, it's just Vostok, Fortress, Bannerfall, Multiplex. I don't notice the changes that they said a couple months ago saying that they've increased the weighting of some of those maps and they've decreased some of the ones that people don't like. I haven't noticed that. It's literally been the exact same. So maybe that's just me. Maybe, there's some sort of implied bias in there on my end, right? Maybe the numbers don't line up with what I'm saying, but I just wanted to put a feeler out there for those of you guys who are still watching late in the video. Do you guys notice those kind of things? Does the map pool feel better over the last couple months? Because when I look at changes like this, after those changes coming out, I was super excited for. I haven't noticed them in game. So I can't really get excited about these because I feel like they're just not going to apply to me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just how I kind of perceive things. But that's pretty much it. Oh my God. Okay. I didn't see this. Showdown no longer subtracts a point from revives. Okay, well, I kind of liked that, but I still think Showdown would be cool for comp. But whatever. Final bit here, they talk about the special ammo meter coming back. I mean, fucking hell, dude. I am not excited for that. I don't think the special meter will work ever, as long as special weapons are seen differently. Shotguns and snipers and fusions are always going to prevail. And it really limits the sandbox. So yeah, I'm not really interested in it. I'm worried, but they do say the new ammo meter is tied to the largest game-wide rework of the ammo system. So I mean, the last one was such a fucking great success. Let's see what they do next, right? In before they fucking change fighting lines, ammo count, and completely fuck the game. But I do kind of want to just sum up my points real quick here. Nice little pretty bow. So many good updates here. Bungie clearly cares about this game. I hate seeing comments saying Bungie doesn't care. It's not that they don't care. It's that there's a lot of different types of players out there, and it's difficult to please all of them. I can understand that. And this update is pleasing the 90% and fucking over the top 10%, right? And most people won't care about that. But Bungie still does have an obligation to the top 10% experience. I think they could have improved the lower players' experience without having to add that final flawless pool on top. And then, the matchmaking system is ridiculous. Putting solos against trios, it's stupid. Like, you have the system set up, just use Fireteam Finder and make it solo or trio only. Makes perfect sense to me. I'm not a game developer. I don't know how easy or hard that's going to be, but I think it's a much better solution than the one that they provided, and equally helps everyone because it will populate the 3v3 game mode because you have to play in 3v3s, and it will keep solos as, the main portion of this game. The people who don't want to LFG and just want to go in and do their best, right? Still gives them an option without, imagine a new player playing solo. First game they get on, they're playing a 3-stack, and they got a duo queue who's like Icarus dashing to the other side of the map and just playing the game without them. They're trying to keep up. It sounds terrible, and it sounds like it's really going to fuck over the solos. But I could talk about that forever. I'm not going to. I'm going to end the video. Leave me your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Any respectful discourse. If you disagree with me, I'm happy to respond. I like talking to people who disagree with me. I think it's important to get different perspectives. So if you made it to the end of the video, please leave a like. If you made it this far, I mean, you probably liked the video if you made it this far. So leave a like, man. I don't ask very often. But I hope you guys all have a good one. And I should be streaming today or tomorrow. So for those of you guys interested on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. So hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. See you guys.